What's up, humans, and welcome to a new Psicoactivo. Happy Monday, everybody. I hope you have a great start of your week, first of all. Second of all, I'm going to switch things up a little bit just to tell you, if you like the content that I'm offering you guys, you're going to be a lot of help if you hit the like and subscribe button. If you share the content anywhere you like, just tag me. If you also comment on anything I say here, let me know. You guys know I'm very active in the comments. I know that most of the time, the comments that we get are very proactive, positive, even those that are critical, but respectful, I like because I make mistakes as well. So whenever I make mistakes, I like to correct them. Having said that, there's also the members channel where you can be a part of. And you can also find us on the KGRA website. We got only the interviews there, but there are a few changes that are coming very soon in terms of that because currently Psicoactivo is number 2 on the KGRA feeds, just behind Mr. Richard Dolan. So thank you for the support. And because of that, there's going to be a few changes and a few additions to the KGRA programming, thanks to your support. So thank you. About those comments, though, I know that there are sometimes people that don't agree with what I cover and the way I cover it. And I will never get tired of saying this. This is partly a news channel. There are sometimes when I also give my opinion. I am very transparent when I say this. I always say, if it's my opinion, I go, this is my opinion or in my opinion. But I try to deliver news to you guys. And I've noticed that some of you don't like it when I cover certain personalities or certain aspects of this. The Age of Disclosure documentary, there are a lot of people that I understand. You guys believe that this is a major psyop and that all the people involved in this have been trying to psyop the population since 2017. I understand that. However, the topic is making the news because of events like this. There are mainstream film journalism websites that are covering this very, very much. Variety is one of them. The Hollywood Reporter is one of them. Entertainment Weekly is one of them. IndieWire, Deadline Hollywood. I mean, all the big ones are covering this. And it is reaching a mainstream audience that hadn't been reached before. Not even the phenomenon from James Fox or Unacknowledged have reached the audiences that this is aimed to reach. So yes, I am going to cover it because it's news relating to phenomenology and these topics. And that's what we do here. So you can post your criticism there. It is entirely fair. It is a free world as far as I'm concerned. Last time I checked. What I am not going to allow is vitriol, disrespect, and insults ad hominem. That is something that I don't rock with. If you want to give me your opinion on how you don't like how I cover my stuff, that's fine. Just be respectful, and that's fine. You can write whatever you want. And if you guys think that I'm erasing comments or something like that, I do erase those that I find really disrespectful. I'm sorry, but I do. If you don't like it, if you think, oh, freedom of speech, it is my channel. I'm sorry, but I like to keep the channel respectful, a safe place for people to come and comment and not get into fights or, insult each other, stuff like that. That's not how we roll here. So I'm sorry. But yeah, you're entitled to your opinion. As long as it's respectful, I'll leave it there. There is one specific comment that I decided to erase because it insulted not just me, but other creators, because you guys just don't like the fact that a certain type of language has been used since 2017 in order to replace the old language, such as UFOs or ESP or, the old language. And it's being replaced by UAP, by psionics, all this stuff. You don't like that state-sponsored language? That's fine. You can express that. But please, don't insult people. You're better than this. Don't be primitive. There's no need. And if you can't help yourself, please abstain from commenting. because your comment will be erased. And I'm not going to apologize for that because I'm very clear on how I like to run the channel. And you're never going to see me responding, insulting anybody. Whenever I see a comment that I find funny and uneducated, I do like to troll, but I never call you names or anything like that. You guys expose yourselves whenever you do that. If I pin a comment that I find funny, that I find wrong and funny, you earn that for yourself. People are going to troll you. I'm sorry, but that's the way it goes. And if people trolling these comments are also disrespectful, I am also going to erase them. So just be warned. We can use our rich vocabulary to banter, troll people, but you know, if you're going to use comedy, use it properly. Don't offend people, you know? So that's that for that announcement. But today's video is going to be a really interesting one because I think it enables a debate that is necessary, especially today. Mr. Chris Cuomo, former CNN and now with News Nation, has been covering the UAP topic since he arrived on News Nation. He's got a massive following. And he's always, in my opinion, he's always remained in the center when it comes to the UFO topic. He never says, I know that UFOs are this. He never talks about little green man. He tries to keep the conversation at a certain intellectual level, which is always appreciated because there are now the tropes that used to be in like major shows or programming that started with the classic X-Files tune or the classic little green man reference. That is slowly but surely disappearing from the mainstream media. We need more coverage in the mainstream media. I don't think we're there yet. I still think that there are a lot of people that don't really entertain the idea that UFOs are real within the mainstream media. But I don't think these companies are monoliths. I think that there's different types of opinion within each company. And you can see that by, for example, the review that Variety released on Age of Disclosure. That was a very skeptical review. And it was also a fair review because they claim that there is no evidence, no physical evidence. That is partly true. There's a lot of data, a lot of correlations that people, even scientists, would consider evidence. But there's a lot of people that want to ignore that and just want to see the bodies and the craft and all that stuff. And that's okay. I mean, it's completely fair. And then there was another report from a different writer at Variety that released a more hopeful kind of analysis of the movie. That's where you can see that even within Variety, there's people that think differently in this topic. And Chris Cuomo has been covering this fairly balanced, I think. He was just on Tucker Carlson's show. And before I continue with Tucker, I just want to preface this by saying something that I will keep saying. I know that a lot of you are divided over politics. I know there are a lot of people who don't like Tucker Carlson. I know that a lot of people do like him. That is not important to this specific video or the topic in general. I just want to address the facts. The facts are Tucker Carlson is one of the few journalists in American television who was brave enough to try and look into the UFO topic. And he asked questions to people that not a lot of journalists ask questions to. And he's made up his mind kind of on what the UFO topic is. I happen to think that his decision to believe that this is demonic or angelic is not entirely correct. I think that it has to do with these aspects of the UFO topic or the UFO phenomenon being deceitful. I think it has to do more with that. But Tucker, when he was on Rogan, he claimed that he knew that it was demonic and that it was spiritual. That's okay. He can have his own opinion. But now when he had Chris Cuomo in the show, I like that there are two different opinions clashing against each other in respectful fashion. Chris Cuomo is one of the people that thinks that the government knows what the UFO phenomenon is and is hiding it from the people. And Tucker Carlson seems to think that they know that something is going on, the government, but they don't really know what it is yet. And I really like this debate because it's worth having it. There's a lot of literature in the past. There's a lot of difference of opinion, even within the UFO community, on what this is. And I think that engaging in these conversations rather than shutting each other off is the way that we're going to find out faster what we're dealing with. Let me give you this little clip from Tucker Carlson speaking with Chris Cuomo about what he thinks or what they think is going on with the UFO phenomenon. Here it is.
The president knows we just had an election where he was hammering on these things. And even with UAPs or UFOs, whatever terminology you want, we couldn't get more information. These things are all over the place. Sure, some are helicopters, some are fixed wing. Okay, not all of them. And they don't know? Of course they know. They spend hundreds of millions of dollars on the programs. And then we get all our hopes up, right? The media loves mocking News Nation about this because they think that, oh, Cuomo thinks they're little green men in the basement of some building. No, I don't. It's about knowing that we spend hundreds of millions of dollars and use special operators to do things that you won't tell us about. And at a minimum, you should say, well, here's why we won't tell you.
So what are they?
That's exactly right.
Well, but what are they, do you think?
I don't know what the fuck they are. The point is that they know and they won't tell us things. Well, I think it is anathema to democracy.
Of course I agree with everything you're saying except one specific point, which is I'm not sure they know.
They have programmed. They certainly know more than we do. Put it that way.
They do. They may know that they don't really know, which is the scariest thing of all. And I've certainly called a lot on this topic. I've stopped talking about it in public. I've tried to stop thinking about it because it's just one of those things that drives you crazy. But my strong impression is that they don't really know, that there isn't a consensus on this, and that they're not, from Russia or China.
He campaigned on it. It was supposed to be a no-brainer, and then they put out exactly what the Biden organization.
No, I'm aware of that.
Administration.
I'm aware of that, and I'm aware of that. That's just my view. I could be completely wrong, but I don't think it's as simple as they know exactly what's going on and they're hiding it.
Well, again, these are your people. Why don't you talk to them? They love you.
Oh my gosh, I have. And
so what do you got for me?
I think
come all the way down here.
We don't
cross
know.
all these bridges.
We don't know. And I think that's kind of the scarier answer is
flying over military bases,
shutting them down,
and you
shutting down military.
Yeah, and you don't shoot them down, and then figure out what it was.
Well, maybe you can't. So that's. So look, I think we're getting to the same answer if there is a very obvious mystery that's publicly known, there's public pressure to solve the mystery, to divulge what you know, and you don't.
Yes.
Then there's a real reason behind it. It's not just ass covering.
Or do you have the arrogance to believe that you don't have to tell me?
No, not anymore. Not anymore. Because now that, especially in this administration that was elected on the promise of transparency, there's a real reason. Because there's tons of counter pressure. People are aware, like, where the hell are my Kennedy files? What's going on with these things over New Jersey? You said they were over your house in Bedminster. What is it?
Tucker now doesn't seem as convinced as he was, does he? He kind of changed his mind a little bit. When he was on Rogan, he said it was demonic or spiritual in nature. Now he seems to think, based on what he talks about with the people up top, meaning Trump, meaning Secretary Rubio or other people that are involved in this, that they probably don't know what we're dealing with. And I don't know who I agree with, because I do know or think that the government has been hiding something for 80 years almost. But there's also all of this literature, namely Jacques Vallee or John Keel or even Michael Masters, who, despite having this idea that one of the explanations might be future humans, he still doesn't fully land on it. It's just a theory, a model. And I like when I hear people, when you ask them, what do you think the UFO phenomenon is? I like it when they say that they don't really know, because that is the truth. We don't really know. We've been studying it for a long time, but we still haven't gotten to that point where we say, this is it. And that's one of the reasons why I happen to not really trust when someone comes at me and tells me the UFO phenomenon is this. There's no way of saying that with absolute certainty. It's impossible. I like it that Tucker now seems to have realized that as well. But for me, just staying on top of this, talking about it, staying on top of the people that are like currently trying to investigate this at the highest levels, I think that's the best way that we're going to get to the truth. Disagreeing on what we're dealing with is just normal. It shouldn't be frowned upon or criticized because no one knows what's going on. If you ask me right now, based on how the secrecy has been compartmentalized over decades, based on what surely has been more than likely a lot of destroyed evidence over the years on what's going on, I would be surprised if 10 people in the world know everything that's going on right now. I would be really surprised. And I would be really surprised if there is still like documents or actually palpable evidence that describes what is going on or reveals what is going on. If there is, it is really compartmentalized, it is really hidden, and not a lot of people really know about it because that's the way the system was put in place back in the 50s. Unfortunately, it has worked. It's that system that was put in place comes along with a massive, massive disinformation and misinformation campaign that has persisted for decades now. And at this moment, like every story you hear about UFOs, especially those coming from people at the government, even if they didn't lie about it or they didn't lie knowingly about it, pretty much every story has a little bit of truth and a little bit of lie inside of it. And that's how it was designed. So whoever comes at you and tells you this is exactly what's going on, that's not true. Nobody knows really, just a handful of people. And that handful of people are really old now, and they're probably already looking or they already passed it on to someone else, but it's not many that know what's going on. At least I don't think so. If you think otherwise, you're more than welcome to give us your opinion. Let us know in the comments. But yeah, let me know what you think about this debate that is always present within the topic. Do you side with what Chris Cuomo is saying? Do you think they know what's going on and are hiding it from us? Or do you think, like Tucker does, that they know something is going on, but they don't really know exactly what it is? And that scares them even more than actually knowing. Where do you stand? I'm dying to know. Let me know in the comments. And that's it for me today on this video. I want to thank you for the support on yesterday's video. It completely blew up. So thank you. And I'll see you guys in the next one. Don't forget, stay curious. Bye.